G'day folks, Ben from Snowies here today with this Darche XL double stretcher. This is a double stretcher with support straps to avoid having a bar down the middle. It's got a quick fold, easy setup frame and extra support bars for plenty of stability. Before we dive in, we've got loads more content like this on our channel, so make sure you like and subscribe below. Now let's jump into the product. So this is how the stretcher looks in its bag. It's quite an oversized bag, measures about 1.5 meters, and the bag itself measures about 20 centimeters and about 30 centimeters, but there's heaps of space inside here, and overall weighs about 24.5 to 25 kilos. So it's not a lightweight unit, but it gives you a nice big platform for a double mat or a swag. So first thing I do is take everything out of the bag and show you what comes inside. So I've got a few different bits inside. This is the main part of the stretcher. That's the main frame and the sling in one, and then you've got 6 bars in here, 4 short or 2 longer ones. These are the end bars, and then you've got 4 shorter support bars which go at the base. So we can put these aside because we'll need them after we've got the main section of the stretcher set up. So to get started, we need to fold this out. It's a bit of a W pattern, so if I fold this out like this, you can see these are actually the legs on the ends here, and we need to invert these all the way out and around. Same on the other side. Push this all the way out and around. So as you can see now, we've got 1, 2, 3 legs, and that's our stretcher on top. So this can be easier with 2 people now, because what we need to do is grab the stretcher and separate it like this. So this is going to be a little bit awkward just with one person. So once you've got that out as best you can, as flat as you can see these ends are loose. So we've got to grab these poles, and these are going to go slide in through the pocket here, and these will lock in over the top of these buttons on the end here. Then we'll come down to the foot end after that. We know it's the foot end because we've got a little logo here that says secure this end last. Reason being that underneath the foot end, we've got these straps here, which are secured partway along. You can see this panel here. They're secured here so that it wraps around this end pole, and we can tighten these to give tension to the stretcher here, and that's how we get away, or how Darche have gotten away without requiring that center pole. So we set this up in the same manner, in that we slide this in underneath this section of fabric here, slot it in on the buttons on the end. So I've just gone to tighten this over here, and it's felt a little bit firm. So obviously when this was last packed down, it has been used before, these weren't loosened. So you might need to loosen these straps so that you can get this pole over this corner here. So this pole's in place, but this fabric is still quite loose here. It still sags down in the middle. So that's where we've got to come under to these straps here. And there's actually 5 of them. I mentioned 4 before, but there's actually 5. So one right over on this side. And we put a good amount of tension on each of these to put tension across the top of the stretcher. And that's going to eliminate too much sag in the middle. So as tight as you can do it, nice and firm. We've still got some support bars to put in underneath after this. So that's now created tension across the top of the stretcher here, so that's sitting nice and tight. We don't have the bar in the middle that a lot of double stretchers have. Now we're not quite done yet. We do need to put these support bars in place which fit at the base between each of the legs. So we've got these, I guess it's a nylon slot here, and they correspond with these little lugs here. This slides over the top of this, same at the other end. And that just holds those legs in place to stop them moving around too much. So I put 4 of those in place. So that's the stretcher almost set up. Just a few other stabilizer bars to put in place. There's these little things, 1 on each corner. These slide down and line up with this wing nut here. If you lock that over the top of the wing nut and just tighten that up, that just helps to create a little bit of extra stability in the stretcher, and there's 1 on each corner. That's the stretcher all set up, ready to use. Now when it's set up, it's about 50 centimeters in height, a little bit less when this sags down. It's about 50 centimeters, so that's where the bar is here. About 145 centimeters, I think is what Darche say with width, but that's kind of the width of this bar here. It's about 138 centimeters from the edge of this bar to the edge of this bar. And if you want the actual space that you'd lie in between these bars, it's about 135 or about 130 to 135 centimeters between the bars. and about 216 centimeters in length. And that's from the end of the bar to the end of the bar. So if you want to sort of take the space that you're lying in, that you're not touching the bar, you want to take probably about 5 centimeters off of that. So about 210 centimeters in total length between the bars. The material is a 600D PVC coated polyester, fairly standard material used in a lot of camp furniture. Really durable, doesn't stretch a lot, offers a lifetime of usability out of the product. Powder coated steel frame and all just sort of flexible nylon plastic components that sort of join it all together, or caps on the end. So made out of really durable materials. And it makes for a pretty sturdy stretcher given it's a double. If I give that a bit of a wobble, it does move a bit. You're never going to get a camp stretcher that doesn't move at all, but given it's got all the corner braces and the extra braces down underneath the feet there, that sits pretty sturdily. Now ultimately the comfort test. Now I think this is best suited really to put a swag or another mat on top of rather than just using it as it is. There is a bit of frame underneath here, and if you put too much weight in this spot here, you can just feel a padded section of the frame a little bit. So having a mat on top of that is going to create even more comfort. But in terms of space, there's plenty of length. I'm 185 centimeters. You can see I've got heaps of room for my feet there, and my head's well within the bar at the top here. As I lay down, I do feel like I slope a little bit to the middle here. Perhaps if someone else was on this side here, it might tighten it up a little bit more and push the middle up. But it's pretty good for a double mat. A lot of them will slope, if it was like this without any support in the middle, would slope a lot in the middle, but it feels pretty good. Once again, if you put a mat on top of this, a nice thick mat, it's going to sort of compensate for the slight slope, which I'm going to do now. I've got a double mat and also a couple of singles that I'll put on top of here to show you how they fit. Now this is a fairly standard 10 centimeter thick, about 134 centimeter width camping mat, double size. So it fits pretty neatly on top of here, and I'd recommend when you put them on, you try and have them reasonably flat to kind of compensate for the poles on the side and any slopes and things. So if I lay on this now, I do still feel like I'm sloping a little bit to the middle, but it otherwise feels really comfortable because I've got the nice soft cushiness of the mat and then nothing hard underneath. I've just got the stretcher underneath, so it feels pretty good. And in terms of stability, certainly no rocking this way, a little bit lengthways. I'll move it, I can feel a little bit of rocking lengthways just until those corner braces sort of take hold and stop it from moving any further. If I had someone else lying on this side here, it'd probably compensate a little bit and I wouldn't have this slope to the middle, but there is always going to be a little bit of a slope, but it's a bit of a trade-off between having a bar down the middle or a slight slope to the middle. There's two different double stretcher types, and this is one where they've eliminated that bar down the middle. Now I've got a couple of single mats that I'll also throw on here just to give you an idea on how that might work, but ideally it's a little bit narrow for two regular sized single mats to fit on top. These are going to hang over the edge, so if I put that sort of in place, you can see it's well past the center there, so that's going to have to sit over the edge like that, and the other mat is going to have to sit over the edge as well, so you're probably going to get more sort of slope to the middle because these are sitting up over the edge of this bar on the side here. So definitely suits a double mat or a double swag. Perfect solution if you want to get a double swag set up off the ground. That's how the Darchi XL double stretcher feels set up, but I'm going to show you how to pack it up now, which is relatively straightforward. Once again, easier if you've got two people because there's a little bit of weight and a lot of arms and stuff to sort of fold up. The first thing we want to do is unlock the four corner braces and take the support bars out from each of the feet at the base. Now I've got those support bars off. We come back down to the foot end of the stretcher here and we loosen off the tension straps underneath here so that we can take the bar out of the end. Once we've got the bar out of this end, we can also take the bar out of the head end. So from this point, this is where it can be easy with two people, but you want to lift it up on its side and let it collapse on itself. As you go here, just tuck this fabric down inside the stretcher. It's going to make folding it up a whole lot easier. And from this point, these legs are going to have to fold up over the top. So I need to pull the stretcher back this way, fold these up and around on each side. This then tucks into the center. You do the same thing on both sides. So if you flatten this fabric out as best you can on the sides, it's going to pack up a bit neater. And you've got these straps that are actually attached to the frame. And these are there to be able to secure it all once you've got it all rolled up. So if I roll these over this way, so the fabric kind of rolls around the frame, I can then eventually go right over I have to just fold this fabric back a bit, but I can now do this strap up around here. And there's another strap at the head end here. That's it all packed up. I can then grab all the poles and bars, put them back in the bag. That's the Darche XL double stretcher all packed up. As I mentioned, heaps of room inside this bag here. You could just about fit a camp chair inside there as well, but it's going to end up being quite a heavy package to carry around. So there you go, XL double stretcher. A stretcher without a bar down the middle, so you can put a double swag or a double mat on top and not have that separating bar. You do get a little bit of slope to the middle, but you don't get that bar, so it's a bit of a trade-off either way. Check these out online at snowies.com.au.